are going to do a session on how to preparing your application, both sort of globally and sort of practically. And we will leave lots of time for questions and go back to a few of the, hopefully either cover some of the questions that were in the chat or answer your questions after we do a bit of an intro. So to get, you have to, next slide, sorry. So all of the requirements for our program are listed on our website. So there's the link at the top. The first step for our program and many programs is to register for the national matching system. So that's the Canadian and American match that is required for GC admissions. You need to apply each year for the NMS match, and then on each of your applications, wherever you apply, you'll need to add your NMS number. And that's to ensure that you're registered with the match and will be ranked, and you will rank the programs in order to gain admission. So our requirements are a 4-year bachelor's degree. There are 5 prerequisite courses clearly listed on our website. You will need to obtain a B+ at minimum in each of those courses. And if you haven't completed any of the prerequisites, if you include proof of enrollment, that would be sufficient, though we will need your final grade before admission, basically. The specific requirement for molecular genetics or molecular biology is that it must be a prerequisite that's been completed in the last 5 years. We do accept unofficial transcripts as long as it has a legend so we can tell what the courses are. Our system requires a short CV, so our curriculum vitae of 2 pages. And then if you've graduated from a program that's not in English, you need to submit English language scores called the TOEFL. Next slide. So there will be on the application opportunity to list your experience, either paid or volunteer, and specifically related to the development of communication or interpersonal skills. Ideally, we do want this to be a one-to-one counseling experience. So it can be a crisis intervention, distress line, family planning center, something where there's one-to-one discussion. It does not have to be genetic specific, and we do not expect applicants to have shadowing experience or volunteer experience or work experience in a genetics clinic. There is a response to 3 bio questions that are within the application. Please ensure you note the word count for each and have someone read them over for feedback. What we're looking for is things like understanding what genetic counseling is, what a genetic counselor does, and why you're interested, why you would be a good fit as a genetic counselor. You need 3 letters of reference. One must be from an academic reference, so someone who's taught you in a university setting and can speak to your academic skills. One must be from someone who's supervised you or can speak to your either volunteer or paid position skills related to communication. We do know that not all crisis line or distress lines will provide references, but there will be hopefully someone in your sphere that could speak to your interpersonal and communication skills, someone who is objective about that. We don't have a GRE requirement, and I've highlighted our application deadline date, Wednesday, January the 8th, and we cannot accept applications after that date. Anything that's incomplete or missing will not be forwarded from the university for the admission committee to review. So you really need to ensure that all information is uploaded and available for that by January the 8th. We do interviews between March and April, and we are conducting them virtually. And then the universal acceptance date or the match date where the match is the data is released is April 16th. I think that's it for me.
Yep. All right, let me go over this.
Sure.
So our application is holistic. So we're not just looking at grades, we are looking at the whole application in totality. Grades are just one aspect of it. So reference letters, the answers to the questions, interpersonal experience, and all of our faculty who are involved in the application process have gone through training for bias and also training for other things as well. So it is a holistic approach. If you have any questions specific to the application or the program itself, prerequisites, there are virtual drop-in office hours with the leadership. There's only one more day left for this year, which is on December 2nd. You can go to our website and the link is there. There's a Zoom link there and the time is 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you have any questions, you can always drop in. And Pernur and I we added 2 more sessions for Monday, January 6th and Tuesday, January 7th, because the applications are due Wednesday, January 8th. And Pernur, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the university is closed as of December 20 to opens back up on January 6th, correct?
24th actually, but
Okay.
I actually am not working the 23rd, so 20th is good.
Okay, so the university is closed as of January 20th. So if you send any emails between it's closed as of December 20. If you send any emails between December 20 and January 6th, they won't be answered. So we're going to be having 2 drop-ins on January 6th and January 7th. The link is on the website along with the time. Okay, and then the next one for me before I hand it over to Pernur is just about our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, because you saw in our mission and vision statements that that is something that we are committed to. So the question is, what are you doing about it? We talked about how with the faculty that are on the application committee that there is training for them to look at these applications from a lens that's not bias related, at least implicit bias. We also have continuous training for students, faculty, and leadership. In terms of the curriculum and assignments, there is an effort to bring in the world view of our students into articles that have been assigned or in lectures that are taught, because we know that the world that we live in, our patients come from many different backgrounds. And as we're trying to diversify the field of genetic counseling, our students are now representing a lot of those identities. And so it's beneficial for their classmates to also listen to how perhaps a particular paragraph in a reading or an article or an assignment could be viewed by them that I, for example, would never have thought of. And so this is all part of our cultural competence to care. We have yearly review by course coordinator. So there's a meeting at the end of every academic year where all the course coordinators get together and talk about what went well, what didn't go well, where's the duplication. We go through all the evaluations by the students and really take those seriously. And at the same time, there's a review of content for bias and diversity. We have a lot of outreach events that our genetic counseling students graciously are also involved in, given how busy they are already, but they're also involved in a lot of these outreach events, as are our genetic counseling faculty. So we're really, really lucky that we have such a motivated, enthusiastic, and committed faculty and students. And so our goal is to organize outreach through the Office of Access and Outreach at University of Toronto to high school students, identifying with groups underrepresented in healthcare and or from any background experiencing socioeconomic barriers. Last year was the first time that we initiated a mentor-mentee program where students, undergraduate students in the Community of Support program through the Tamarti Faculty of Medicine who were interested in genetic counseling were paired up with a current genetic counseling student as a mentor to help them through the application process. So the community of support section, you'll hear about it in the talk by the first year students on pathway towards becoming a genetic counseling student. And then we also participate in a lot of different career fairs as well. Bernard, I think it's you. Oh no, it's Stacy.
Thank you. Just our website or the SGS website outlines the fees for this current year and will be updated for next year, just as give you a sense of the fees for both domestic and international students. We have tried to identify sources of funding to support students. We do have two scholarship opportunities, both for one incoming and one second-year student. That's a $10,000 scholarship based on both on academics as well as answers to a written prompt. There are some other bursary opportunities, and we do get some money from the University of Toronto that we do try to distribute on a sort of a financial needs basis to students. It's not a ton, but we try to do the best we can to give a little bit of a break. And then there are other opportunities for scholarships through U of T and through the School of Graduate Studies, which we alert students to apply for. There is, through the Canadian Association of Genetic Counselling, an application bursary for individuals who identify as Indigenous or First Nations.
Hello everyone. Anna, just to confirm, are you able to hear me okay? Okay, perfect. So I'll take everyone through the application process. So you will go through for all graduate study applications, or for all graduate programs actually, you'll go through the School of Graduate Studies website to apply. So that's this website right here. And then you will log in and you'll notice that the first step of the application will ask for personal information, and it's kind of divided into the sections that are listed here. So enter your personal information. Your transcripts history will also be added here, and you will also be adding your CV. I do get a lot of questions for transcripts. So to clarify, include transcripts for any of the postgraduate, or sorry, any graduate, not graduate, any post-secondary institutions you have attended. So any of your bachelor's degrees, if you have been to multiple institutions for your bachelor's degree, include that. If you're already coming in with a master's, include that as well. For the GPA section, that always gets confusing. Just list the CGPA. If you are a fourth year student and you're not fully sure about what GPA to list, list the GPA that you have for your most recent academic term. That shows up on your academic history. So if you are, like, if that was the summer of your third year, then list that GPA. If you are completing one-off courses, you could include those institutions in this section, or you could also include, if you only have like a letter of enrollment, you can include that as like supplemental documents in the second part of the application. So this is the first part of the application where you just input your personal information, transcripts, and CV. It will ask you to click submit. And rest assured, this is not the final submission. This is just the first part of the application. And the second part of the application is where you will get to submit the rest of your documents. So that is your personal profile form. You'll be able to download that from the application portal itself. Also, the prerequisite form, you will submit that along with the application checklist. And that's also where you can monitor the status of the rest of your documents. So for example, if your referees haven't submitted a document, you can sort of check the status there. If you need to send your references a reminder about the deadline, you can also do that through the application portal. If you do need to submit any updated versions of any of the documents, feel free to just upload them in the portal. And then typically when we do the application review, I will go in and delete any of the sort of older submissions for that document. So if you submitted 3 different versions of the CV, they all get arranged in chronological order on sort of the administrative end. So if you've submitted something on like November 7, then November 8, and then November 9, I will delete the 2 documents that were submitted for just November 7 and 8. So that's this slide. Okay, I forgot that we had this additional slide, but kind of talking about the academic history portion and then the CGPA. So if you're ever confused about which institutions you need to list, just feel free to reach out to me. It's okay. Next one. Okay, the SGS application portal, like we mentioned. So like, yeah, the first part, you will be submitting personal information. Second part is going to be the documents. That's also where you make the application fee payment. It's $125 Canadian. Make sure before you've submitted everything before the deadline that you review all the documents are submitted properly, and that those are the most recent and up-to-date documents that you want to submit. If there are any issues with accessing any of the documents you've submitted during the review process, I will reach out to you. So do monitor your email even after you've submitted the application, because every now and then we get a file that we're not able to open. So please do monitor your email, because that will be our main way for contacting you. For students who are submitting non-institutional emails for their references, you will get a flag from the application portal saying that this is a non-institution email. That should be sort of your flag for reaching out to me, and then this is the information you would need to submit to me. It's also on our website, so submit the name of the reference, the institution or the company name, their email, and their phone number. And then if there is like a website reference for their contact information, please submit that as well. And then again, for any scholarships and bursaries, please do check those out. There's actually the awards website on the School of Graduate Studies, and you can filter it by different awards, including entrance awards. Format of the CV, I think, Rihanna, that was 2 pages, correct? Yeah. For international students, the one thing I will point out is that if you do list your status, legal status as international, it will ask you 2 questions. One, what is your current legal status? And then what is the expected legal status? So if you're in the process of applying for a PR, then for expected, you can note down PR. Otherwise, please just note down study permit. There are no options for a work permit status or anything like that. Just please include study permit, because that is sort of the status that you will be entering the program in if accepted. Yep, for this slide.
Never forward it. All right. Okay, what time is it? It's almost 3 o'clock and we end at 3:20, right? So we have about 20 minutes for questions. Okay, so we're almost near the end. These are some of the resources. If you want to take a picture of this with your phone, these might be helpful for you when you are either considering to apply in the future or you're applying this year. These are some of the resources that you might find beneficial. I'm not going to run through it, so you can just take a picture of these and then just take a look at them if you're interested. So I'll wait 5 seconds. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000. Next question. So these pictures are just showing you some of the outreach that we've done, and then our wonderful admin staff, Maggie and Brittany, who covers for Maggie when she's away. And then on the bottom right corner is our medical director, Dr. Chidiat, and some of our faculty, and Susan Armel is right there as well. So I